Okay, I'm off on another assignment, and this time it's to do something very different. So I'm working for The Economist this time, and they want me to visualize 3 stories. The first of which is in Shanghai, and I'm about to jump on a plane and get off. But before I do that, I want to show you the kit that I'm using. So let me just switch this camera around. So this is all I'm packing. I'm going much lighter than I did on my last one. It's just going to be going there for a day. I'm hoping to spend a morning in the place that I'm going to shoot, and in the afternoon doing some cityscapes just to give a little bit more depth to the story. Let me just go through what I've got here. So starting down here, I have 2 bodies, the 5D and the 7D. Now I don't really need 2 bodies for this assignment, but I like to keep things really simple so I don't have to keep changing my lenses. One of the things I'm going to be watching out for is getting dust on the sensor, because I need to do some cityscapes, and if I have in that blue sky, or hopefully blue sky, or the sky, that there's going to be a dust spot that's going to really cause me problems when I come to editing. So 2 camera bodies, one with a 16-35, that's a 70D, and then the 5D at the moment, the 5D's got the 16-35, the 70D here has got the 70-200, and I'm taking one macro lens. This is a Tamron 90mm macro lens, which is going to get me into, give me all sorts of other opportunities, as you'll see when I start working. I don't need to do any interviews on this except for a few street interviews. So for sound, I'm taking just a shotgun microphone here, which I can use out in the street. And this is a handle so that I can hold it. And I'm going to be working with a local fixer there, and I'm going to get him to hold this just out of my shot when I go and do some street interviews. And here is just a short extension that I need for that. I'm also bringing the Sennheiser short shotgun mic. That's just for doing ambient sound, to put that on the camera that I'm shooting with. And as always, for 1 minute of sound in every place, that little Zoom H1, really useful to have with me. Now, as I said, I'm not really doing many interviews, so I'm not going with big earphones, but I've got some in-ear earphones just for doing those street interviews, so I can make sure that I'm getting what I'm getting. A little bit of extras, so here, battery for my phone and charger for my phone. This is an internet access for my computer. Lots of cards, as always. I'm going to try and keep everything as I shoot on the cards there. Lots of spare batteries, an intervalometer, spare tripod mount, battery charger. Now this is really important. A couple of things here. Here I have, let me just pull this out, a mini mixer. So this mini mixer I'm going to be using for the street interviews. It's going to allow me to adjust the sound as I go along, so I can monitor what I can see and adjust the sound as I go along, and that will allow me this XLR which will give me slightly better sound quality. Also, I didn't say here, I have a Zacuto. This is a eye loop. Now I'll probably need this for picking out people. Now if I put the 70-200 on the 70D, I get a 300mm lens, and so I need this to help me focus and do some pull focus and things like that, just as a Zacuto viewfinder. One more thing here, a ND filter, variable ND filter. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be. It says either sunshine or cloudy, hopefully no rain, and this ND filter will allow me to get me slightly wider depth apertures when I'm shooting. Also, finally, a tripod, as always, and I'm not bringing anything other than this slider here. Now the slider is going to allow me to do some reasonably creative shots, which I can do without having to take too much extra gear, so I'm not bringing the jib on this particular shoot. And it's all going to pack into this one bag, which is easy to take on the plane. I don't need anything more than that. I'm only away for 1 night, so all of this will go into that one bag, and that's all I'll be carrying. It means it's easy for me to get around, put it on my back. Okay, I'll show you as I go along. Now here are some of the benefits of getting up early. I've come up early and here behind me you can see I've got an amazing shot of these guys doing exercise in the park. It's now just gone 7 o'clock, and if I'd come a little later, as I will be coming back, you'll see all of this will be gone. The streets will be filled with all sorts of people. I've got beautiful light on this English church, as you can see behind me. So I came out here early morning, about 6 o'clock I set off, was shooting around 7 o'clock, there wasn't anybody here. Now, if you look at it, it's absolutely packed. I can see from here maybe about 10 different wedding couples all having their pictures taken, loads of tourists, just a completely different scene. So this is really the value of getting up early and working. Now, as you can see, I'm just carrying a backpack here, and with me I have two bodies. Just pick them up, which I like to work with. I'm doing stills as well as video at the same time, quickly setting up 10 seconds or so of each shot, keeping it steady, and then going. Now we need to get a couple of interviews. Once we've got those, we're going to do some creative work, and then we'll be done here for the day. Because I got most of the stuff I needed this morning when the light was really perfect. Now it's quite strong, as you can see on my face. Still got a little bit of a cloud cover, so it's not too bad, but it's just difficult to find anywhere that I can shoot which isn't full of people. Yeah. This is a nice little trick for breezy days.
Yeah.
Hang the bag down here. Just get the Okay, so we finished the main filming, and now I'm trying to do something a little bit more creative. I've got a bit more of extra time, so I put a slider on here. I'm going to slide up until, what about there? Let's move that camera to about here. Just checking everything is level. Having a leveling base here makes a real difference when it comes to getting your cameras straight. There we go. So this is going to be my slide. Jump my thing on now. You'll see I put a neutral density filter on here so I can get my lower apertures and my wider apertures. There we go. And hopefully this is going to work really nicely. I'm going to start up over here, and I'm going to slide down. Okay, so we've just about finished this morning's work. It's been successful so far. As I said, coming out early was really the best thing to do because trying to shoot now would be very difficult. But we've got the interviews, we've got some creative stuff, and I've got everything on my list. Now here I have a shot list, which is what I made beforehand. And as you can see, what I've been doing as I go through these is just ticking them off one by one. Now it's really important that you prepare before you go out, and the shot list is a great way to do that. This is just a reminders in an iPhone app, but as I go through I make sure I've got everything I've got. Obviously I've got a few extra things that I wasn't expecting, but this is to ensure before I go home I can click off, make sure every single one of these is done. Now I've got one more thing to do, and that is to go an hour and a half to the other side of town to go and shoot Pudong, which is a business area in Shanghai. So I'm going to go do that right now. 4개 미리 차来差不多타운 쇼다. 타운 쇼다 이거리다.
타운에서 근처에 많이 있어서 그런 것 같아요.
So one of the things I really worry about in situations like this is getting dust on the chip. If you get one little dust spot on the chip and you have a big blue sky like this, any of that dust is going to show up. So it makes it very, very difficult to be sure. So the way that I'm doing this is putting an ND filter on, trying to keep my apertures fairly wide as I stop down, so that dust is going to start appearing more clearly. And also just keeping your chips clean by cleaning them and not trying to change lenses too often, because it can completely ruin a whole video shoot if you have dust in it. It's so difficult to get rid of. It's not like a picture where you can just go in and spot it out in Photoshop. It's important to get a minute of sound everywhere that we shoot. This is what I've got this in my pocket for, very, very quick to take out, and when I hear something like this I can pick it up in no time at all. Now I've got to get some video of the clock. Okay, that's the end of the day today. Been a little bit unlucky with the weather, or kind of maybe lucky, I'm not sure, because it's a little bit hazy, so I don't have these clear shots of Pudong as I wanted to. But we still got a nice day, we've got some sunshine and we've had a good day. So now it's just a case of getting back to the office and getting it edited. Okay, I've come back to Beijing and now it is time to start editing. I have my CF cards and my SD cards, plus the recordings from my sound recorder, and the first thing I'm going to do is to make a copy of each of the discs onto this hard disk. Now this is just as a backup in case anything goes wrong during the editing process. So I have all the original media there. Now once I get to the end of the project, it's been exported, it's been published, I can then delete that because all the extra media, all the media will be stored in another place. But for now I just want it there for safekeeping. I'm going to be using a USB 3 card reader that's going to make it super fast to do, and I'm going to just basically import all of my stuff into Final Cut X, which is what I'm going to be editing with. Now London have sent me a voiceover file which I can put on, plus any of the extra graphics that they need at the beginning and at the end, and identifying people. Those are all with me now. So all I need to do is to import from the disk, once I've done the backup, into Final Cut X and start laying it out on the timeline. Now one thing before I forget, which is really important, is a good pair of headphones. It's impossible to edit with just the little earbuds in or trying to use the speakers on the laptop computer or whichever computer you're using. They will not pick up the really kind of fine points, which means if someone's watching your video later and they're wearing good headphones, they're going to hear all the things that you're not hearing. So get some closed back headphones and stick them on before you start editing. So many times now I see people with these little earbuds in trying to edit the sound, and it's never going to really work. Okay, I'm going to start editing now. Okay, so here I am. I have here, as you can see, the voiceover that's come in and some of my graphics that have come in from London. And all of my media here, as you can see, I can scroll through it, has all now been imported into Final Cut X. It's a very simple process, just a simple right click, import media, then find the files, and in they come. Very quick to do, and as you import them, you can also check for any problems with sound or color correction. But this is pretty well everything that I shot. All of those clips that you saw in the earlier videos, they're all here. Also some still pictures. You can see this is the movement on the Oxford Street. with all the wobbly bits as well, which obviously I'm going to take out later. All here and ready to go. But before I start, one of the first things I'm going to do is just to rename the sound files. And that is because with the sound files, I don't know what they are. I can see here by just quickly scrolling through any of these what I've got by just brushing my mouse over the clip. But for the sound I can't, so I'm going to change it. You see I've already done that. But now remember I put a little voice identifier on at the beginning. So let's come here. On the Bund. So you can see at the very start I say on the Bund, so I can then quickly write here. Now obviously I'm going to edit that out, I'm not going to use that bit, but with all of the voice clips I've got, I'm going to have a little voice thing beforehand here. Okay, in fact in the recording of it. So early morning sounds, all sorts of other stuff that I've recorded here. And now the first thing that I would do is start with a voiceover. So I'm going to drop the voiceover onto the timeline, which is this one here. Let's just bring it out to the end, drop it onto the timeline, and then that's ready to start editing. Now it's asking me what format I want to edit in, because here with the voiceover I don't have any video, so I'm going to set it at 25p, which is what I've used, and 1920 by 1080. So that means that everything else from then on is going to conform to that size. And you can see here, if I play this,
President Xi Jinping has made the pursuit of a Chinese dream his...
I have the voice over here. So all I need to do then is to start dropping things on. But to make things easier, I'm going to go straight to the final edit. So rather than make you sit through the next few hours of me editing it, I'm going to show you the final edit, which is right here. So this is the final edit, and you can see exactly what I've done. I start here with the opener from the Economist, and then we go into the main video as it starts down here. Now you can see in the layering what I'm doing is I have the voiceover here as a main channel. This is the thing that I'm basically editing to, plus any of the sound bites like this one here. And then I'm adding B-roll on top of the voiceover. So let's just go to the very start here. We hear the Chinese music starting to come in, some early morning sounds that I recorded with the sound recorder, and then into the music. So we can just hear it from the very start here. Hear the birds singing, then we hear the music. And this was the music that they were actually doing Tai Chi to. This isn't something that I put in later. It's a recording that I made of them doing it. And I've kept that going. So you can see when it comes to editing, a lot of it is all about sound and making sure that there isn't any sort of hard cuts in the sound. So you can see often here, if I've got some background sound, this is taken from the camera, I'll stretch it a bit further, and you can see how I ease it in and I ease it out. All the time, easing in, easing out, easing in, easing out on all of these clips. And quite often I'll try and stretch one clip across 2 or 3 so we don't have, if it's in the same situation, so we don't have the hard cut of going from one to another sudden cut. So let's just watch that first sequence, and you can see it on the timeline as the parts come through. So the Chinese music comes down.
Oxford Street is a quiet, cobblestoned lane with Tudor-style shopfronts and what are supposed to look like gas lamps. At one end, it opens out onto a small square. A bronze statue of Winston Churchill stands in front of the open-air colonnade of Thames Bar. 74-year-old Mrs. Liu moved from northeast China to Thames Town 3 years ago.
Okay, so let's just go to that part there. I want to show a few other things. Now you've noticed I've put some markers in here. These are the little blue dots here. And you'll see on the sound wave that the markers come in the breaks. Now this is the point at the end of a sentence where whoever's reading the voiceover will take a breath. And that's a natural point for an edit. Now through. Okay, so as we come through here, now we come into the subtitles, and you can see the subtitles being added on. This is from the style of the publisher. And I've added some extra B-roll to cover this jump cut right here. So I don't want to see a jump cut, so I've added some B-roll, but rather than just having one clip in the B-roll, I've added 2 clips, so it doesn't seem too much like, oh, we've just put a bit of B-roll in, and then we go back to the interview again. So when we're watching that, we shouldn't be able to see the jump cut, which is right here I've been able to take that out. And that's pretty well much it. You can see here that I have edited to the markers sometimes, sometimes not, here and here. It all depends where is the kind of natural place to put that. You know, where is the place where I think I should find a spot to edit. It doesn't always work. So here I haven't done that because she's talking about things like the red telephone boxes.
And Georgian-style housing for 10,000 people, red British-style phone booths, and perhaps oddest of all, a church with a spire that's a close copy of a mid-19th century Anglican one in Bristol.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'll just flip through and pick out a few other bits here. So this is the voice coming in here. Now you can see actually what happens in this one is that the person that I'm talking to moves close to me. So we have to put a few keyframes in here to bring the sound up and then bring it down towards the end. It's a little bit more complicated. But you'll see the whole way through. This is a voice over here. But what I've got is lots and lots of extra B-roll all overlapping itself. So the extra B-roll sound is overlapping. So here I'm not using the sound recorder, I'm using it off the camera, but I stretch it further and then I make it overlap. So the idea behind that is that you have really smooth, as this one comes down, this one goes up. Sorry, this one comes down, this one goes up, the wrong way around. The same with this. So you can see all the way through here. The sound is really important. Actually, in this particular video, the visuals are quite simple. It's just one clip, one clip, one clip, one clip, one clip. But down below it, where I've done the sound, I've got like 3 or 4 things happening to try and get that to work. So this just, if we listen to it here.
Thames Town is often scoffed at as one of China's most peculiar ghost towns. For years, its houses did remain largely empty. Its town centre attracted far more citizens in search of a novel background for wedding photographs than it did Shanghainese.
Okay. And as we go through to the end, again, you can see the markers all put in place, sometimes editing to it. In fact, this case, pretty well all editing to the marker, the natural place, and sometimes not. We go up a little bit here for some more things, and we finish with the ending there and the bumper at the end, and I come back to that same shot to finish with. Okay, so that's it. You can see it on the timeline. That's the wrap for the edit. Then it's just a case of coming out to here and exporting it. You see I have a number of exports as well as the ones that come with the program. I've created some extra ones here down the bottom that I like to use depending on where I'm sending it to. I export it out and then send it to the client. They would normally come back and give me some feedback, tell me what they think, if there's some extra edits that need doing, and there was a few in this case. I'll then correct those and then re-export it one more time and send it on to them. So that's Thames Town.